Most people think silence is strength. It is not. Sometimes silence is just fear with its mouth closed. You know the moment. Someone says something small, a quiet correction in front of others, a joke that lands too close to the wound, a calm sentence that makes you feel smaller than you were 10 seconds ago. And suddenly, something inside you rises. You want to answer. You want to defend yourself. You want to prove they were wrong. You want to make it clear they do not get to speak to you like that. But you do nothing. You stay quiet. Not because you are calm, not because you are above it, but because if you open your mouth, you might lose control. So the room sees silence. But inside you, there is a war. Your jaw tightens. Your chest heats. Your mind starts writing arguments you will never say. And hours later, when the conversation is over, they have already moved on. But you are still there, still replaying it, still defending yourself in your head, still trying to win a courtroom no one else is sitting in. That is not power. That is access. If you do not understand the difference, people will keep reaching you without ever raising their voice. So listen carefully. This is not about learning how to ignore disrespect. It is about becoming the kind of person disrespect cannot survive around. And this is where most people get trapped. Because disrespect rarely arrives as something obvious. It does not always come as an insult. It does not always come as yelling. It does not always give you a clean moment where you can point to it and say, "That was wrong." Sometimes it arrives quietly. Someone corrects you in front of others with a calm little smile. Someone asks for your opinion, then moves past it like you never spoke. Someone turns your excitement into a small joke. Someone looks at you while you are talking, but their attention is already somewhere above you. Nothing dramatic happens. But after the conversation, you feel smaller, less certain, less steady, as if some part of you had to shrink just to stay in the room. And because there is no visible wound, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe they did not mean it. Maybe I am reading too much into this. That is exactly why this kind of disrespect works. It hides inside ambiguity. It gives itself just enough cover to deny everything. But your body noticed before your mind could explain it. Your chest tightened. Your voice changed. Your energy dropped. Something in you knew. Because sometimes disrespect is not a sentence. It is a position. They do not have to say they are above you. They only have to make you feel beneath them. Once you understand that, you stop asking whether you are too sensitive. You start asking why their presence keeps making you smaller. Here is the part most people miss. Disrespect is not always an attack. Sometimes it is a test, a small push, a quiet probe, a way of checking how much access they have to you. They say something slightly cutting, then they watch. Not just your words, your eyes, your face, your breath, the speed of your reply, the way you suddenly try to sound reasonable, the way you smile when nothing was funny, the way you explain more than the moment deserved. And if they see you move, they learn something. They learn where the door is. They learn which tone makes you defend yourself, which joke makes you shrink, which silence makes you chase, which look makes you start performing for approval. That is why subtle disrespect is so dangerous. It does not need to break you. It only needs to locate you. Because once someone knows where your reaction lives, they do not need direct control. They only need pressure, a little less warmth, a little more dismissal, a small correction in public, a joke with a blade underneath it. And suddenly, you are back in the old position, explaining, proving, repairing, trying to make them see you correctly. But the strongest person in the room is not the one who reacts first. It is the one who sees the test before becoming part of it. So from this point on, stop treating every disrespectful moment as an emergency. Treat it as information. They are showing you where they think they have access. And your job is not to argue with the signal. Your job is to close the door. This is why silence alone is not enough. Because there are two kinds of silence. One is fear. The other is position. Weak silence says, "I will not speak because I am afraid of what happens next." Powerful silence says, "I will not speak because this moment does not deserve my energy." They look the same from the outside, but inside they are completely different worlds. Weak silence still begs to be understood. It still wants the other person to realize they went too far. It still waits for an apology. It still replays the sentence, trying to win a moment that has already passed. That silence is not freedom. It is a reaction trapped under the skin. But powerful silence is different. It does not suppress the storm. It studies it. It feels the anger rise and refuses to hand it the steering wheel. It notices the urge to explain and lets it pass without obeying it. It sees the disrespect clearly, without turning the room into a battlefield. That is the discipline most people never build. Not silence as avoidance. Not silence as fear. Silence as command. Because when you can feel the reaction inside you without becoming its servant, something changes. You stop being controlled by every tone, joke, look, or dismissal. You stop reacting on their schedule, and you become harder to reach. Comment this below. I do not react on their schedule. But there are moments when silence is not enough, because some situations require a response, not a reaction. A response. There is a difference. A reaction is fast, defensive, hungry to be understood. It tries to repair your image in someone else's mind before the discomfort gets too loud. A response is slower, cleaner. It does not chase approval. It does not beg for fairness. It simply puts the truth back in the room without giving away your center. So when someone hides disrespect inside a joke, do not laugh just to keep the peace. Pause. Look at them and ask, what do you mean by that? Not aggressively, not emotionally, just clearly. Let the sentence stand there. Most people who use subtle disrespect depend on speed. They need you to laugh quickly, explain quickly, move on quickly, because speed protects the disguise. But when you slow the moment down, the disguise starts to crack. If they corrected you publicly to feel above you, ask, is this feedback, or are you trying to make a point? If they dismiss your opinion after asking for it, say, you asked what I thought. I'm going to finish the thought. If they keep making you smaller through politeness, do not attack the person. Name the pattern, calmly, briefly, once. That is the discipline. Not exploding, not swallowing it, not performing peace while resentment builds inside you, but placing one clean line where confusion used to live. Because power is not always silence. Sometimes power is a sentence short enough to leave no doorway for manipulation. Once you stop treating disrespect as an emergency, you begin to see what it really is. A confession. Not always a conscious one, but still a confession. People reveal themselves by what they try to reduce in you. The person who mocks your ambition may be afraid of their own stagnation. The person who laughs at your discipline may be haunted by their own lack of it. The person who turns your good news into a small joke may not hate your success. They may hate what your success forces them to feel about themselves. This does not excuse them, it exposes them. Because disrespect is often insecurity looking for a lower seat to stand on. And if you are wounded enough, you will miss that. You will make it about your worth. You will start wondering what you did wrong. You will shrink your voice, soften your excitement, hide your progress, and call it maturity. But the moment you stop personalizing their discomfort, the room changes. Their tone becomes data. Their joke becomes data. Their silence becomes data. Their correction becomes data. And data does not need to be defended against. It needs to be read. So do not rush to prove that you are valuable. Watch what your value disturbs in them. Because sometimes the way people disrespect you tells you more about their fear than their words ever could. But there is one uncomfortable truth you have to face. Their disrespect only hurts this deeply when some part of you still wants them to see you correctly. You are not just angry because they were unfair. You are angry because you still want them to understand that you are not small, not weak, not stupid, not beneath them. So you keep trying to repair your image inside their mind. You explain more, you perform more, you become careful with your words, you shrink your excitement, you hide your confidence, you wait for them to finally look at you and realize they were wrong. But that is the trap. Because the moment your peace depends on being seen correctly by someone committed to reducing you, they still have power. They do not need to control your life. They only need to control the version of you that keeps trying to prove itself. And this is where real self-respect begins. Not when they finally understand you. Not when they apologize. Not when they admit they went too far. But when you stop needing a small mind to hold an accurate picture of you. You do not need to win the courtroom inside their head. You need to close the courtroom inside yours. Because freedom begins the moment you stop defending your worth to someone who benefits from making you question it. And this is where the change becomes practical. Because insight means nothing if the next disrespectful moment still turns you back into the old version of yourself. You do not need a new personality. You need a protocol, something you can reach for before anger, fear, or the need to explain takes the wheel. So the next time someone makes you feel small, do not rush. First, feel your body. Unclench your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Breathe out before you speak. That breath is not weakness. It is the space where power returns. Then name the pattern silently. This is bait. This is positioning. This is contempt dressed as honesty. This is a joke with a blade under it. The moment you name it, you stop living inside it. Then choose, clarify, mirror, or withdraw. Clarify when the disrespect hides in ambiguity. What do you mean by that? Mirror when they try to position themselves above you. Is this feedback, or are you trying to make a point? Withdraw when the pattern has already shown itself. Less access, less explanation, less emotional supply. No announcement, no performance, no dramatic exit. Just the quiet removal of what they were using to reach you. That is how the old pattern dies. Not because they suddenly become respectful, but because the version of you they knew how to control is no longer available. Comment this below. The old version of me is no longer available. And one day, they may try it again. The small joke, the quiet correction, the cold look, the sentence designed to make you explain yourself. But this time, something will be different. You will feel the old reaction rise, the anger, the urge to prove, the need to be understood. And for a moment, the old door will appear, the same door they used to enter through. But you will not open it. You will breathe. You will see the pattern. You will remember that not every insult deserves a courtroom. Not every tone deserves your nervous system. Not every person deserves access to the part of you they only know how to reduce. And that is when disrespect begins to lose its power. Not because the world suddenly becomes kinder, not because difficult people disappear, but because the part of you they knew how to control is no longer standing where they left it. You are still kind, but not available. Still calm, but not small. Still silent when silence has power, and clear when truth needs a voice. This is how respect returns. Quietly. First inside you, then around you. Because the moment you stop abandoning yourself to be seen correctly, the old method no longer works, and neither do they.